Hey, we're back again, building on some of that work that we've done in the past. We're talking about some balance work, but also some lateral movement, some hip stability, which is going to help your knees, your hips, and your low back, and more power and drive for whatever activity you're trying to do, even if it's just navigating your ADLs, activities of daily living throughout the day. But we also want to make sure we're doing this with a firm base, and we're doing this while balanced as well. So we're going to kind of marry two of the ones we did in the past right now. And there's another reason this one's good too. If you double back, we did one before called the 8-way hips. 8-way hips, really getting after that hip. Almost in a relaxed plank side position, but also going through the 8-way hips. You can double back and check that one out. We're going to do one differently here for a couple reasons. One, some people have trouble getting on down to the floor and back up off the floor, which is a problem in itself, and you got to work on that. You got to be able to get down on the floor and get back up. Seems so simple, but it's a lost art, especially as you're aging. You want to make sure you can do that. Can you do it? Try. The other aspect is we're also navigating throughout the day, not necessarily down in a side plank position. We're going to be standing up, walking, a series of single leg balances throughout the day. So we want to make sure we're actually programming the body, programming that nervous system to engage these lateral stabilizers in conjunction with, concurrent with, being in an upright position, being in the short foot activation, which we did before. You can double back and check that one out as well. We want to make sure we do this in more of a, I guess, realistic, practical position. So let's get right after it. What we're going to talk about first is, we did this in the past, you can go check it out. We're talking about whether you're doing a single leg balance exercise and any derivation of thing we're doing off that, we're going short foot activation first. Remember, double back to the video if you need the details. Short foot activation, let's just say I'm going right side, foot down, my toes are going into the ground. I like to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from the outside to the inside. Big toe forming that biggest contraction. Big toe forming that contraction, pushing into the ground, creating a contraction in the arch, creating a more stable arch. People always say, my foot's weak. I can't walk barefoot on the beach. I can't walk barefoot on tile. My foot, it's a foot problem. It is a foot problem, but it's probably an intrinsic muscle of the foot problem. Your foot might just be too weak. Take that as a sign you need to work the foot out. Work the foot out. Don't resort to orthotics. Don't outsource the work. Tell those muscles to atrophy even more. Work the muscles. Put the work in. Create a stronger foot, a stronger base, and potentially you won't need the orthotics. Back to this. We got the foot down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, short foot activation. Once I'm there on the short foot activation, I'm bringing that other foot up. Essentially, what am I mimicking? Walking or running. I can go down with the other foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, short foot activation. I'm bringing it up. I'm not just putting my foot down mindlessly and then wobbling while I try to control a single leg balance. I'm putting the foot down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When I do that, I'm standing straight up. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm engaging the floor. By driving that big foot into the ground due to fascial connections, I'm turning on the pelvic floor. And then also, that has connections to the diaphragm. So now I'm turning on our traditional core, but 360 degrees of it. And now I have a stable base, and I can perform different exercises, different movements with a stable base. If you fall out, don't worry about it. You can come right back into it. So we have that down, whether it's a single leg balance or anything. Remember, even a squat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm gripping the floor. Now I'm going into my squat. Now I'm going into my deadlift, whatever it may be. For this one right here, we're going to call this 10-way hips. Starts with the short foot activation. Short foot activation. My foot is turned on. I have a stable base. Remember when we were on the floor in that side plank position, we did an 8-way hip. Standing up, being in an upright position, we're actually allowed to add some more positions. You'll see, it's less load, we'll say, less load due to gravity and the movement on your hip muscles. But again, we're blending this movement of the hip, this lateral stability, with concurrent stabilization of your core and short foot activation. So this is really, really, really synergistic approach to turning on the nervous system, turning on the muscles, full body activation. Sometimes we can break it down in isolations like we do with the 8-way hips on the side. This is bringing it all together. Big picture, full body stuff. Functional movement, if you will. So here we go. Short foot activation on. I'm going up into my single leg balance. That's essential. You need to at least be able to single leg balance. Now let's go through the motions. I'll only do 2. The 8-way hips, we said we're going to strive for 5 to 8 reps. I'll do 2 just for demonstration purposes. Here we go. Foot contracted into the ground. Pelvic floor on. Diaphragm on. I have a sturdy base. Now I'm going to go into my 8-way hips. Ready? We're going to be working that side. We go out into abduction. To that direction. Now I'm going into flexion. Bringing that here. You'll see I'm able to do this because I have this short foot turned on. It's turning on the whole time. I'm exercising my hip. I'm exercising mobility. I'm lengthening mobility by going back and forth as I did 2 and 2 extension. Now I'm doing full swing, back and forth. Now I'm going into flexion. I'll do some abduction and flexion. Back to extension, abduction, and extension. Here's what we can add now. We can add this now because we are in an upright position. We don't have the floor blocking us. Let's go back into flexion, and now we'll go into adduction. So crossing that midline and taking it that way. Extension, same deal. These are the 2 add-ons that give us 10-way hips instead of 8-way hips. And now to finish it, my favorite, circumduction. Take advantage of that ball and socket joint, 360 degrees. Trace it with your foot. You'll move that full hip around. Full mobility, baby, going around. 360 degrees. I love it. I love it. Feels so good. Best way to end this, and you can see, not once did I put my foot down during that. My foot has remained on. You'll start to feel some fatigue on this side for sure. You'll start to feel some fatigue on the other leg as you work the hip. But that's what it's all about. I'm not necessarily a proponent of no pain, no gain. But get in there. If you start to feel fatigue, good. Do 1 rep each. Try to get through that whole progression while engaging in short foot activation and staying up on that single leg. Something to shoot for, even if you only do 1 rep. Count how many times you fall out of it. Build on it. Make it better. Get better balance. Get better stability. Have the core turned on the whole time. And then work that hip on the other time. Perfect synergy for better movement. A better you.